All right. Well, welcome back. I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm Sarah Hawkins. I'm the wellness dietitian here at Berkshire Health Systems. And this is Simple Eats. And so the idea behind this is that I'll be selecting a food or an ingredient that I feel best nourishes both mind and body. Okay. And I also encourage you to really listen to your body when you're eating, and if it's really producing a lot of joy and happiness, that really is the goal. So the goal is to enjoy whatever it is you're doing, whether it's mindful movement, mindful moment, meditation, eating. It should just be a joyful moment. So don't just eat whatever I tell you to eat, whatever I come up with. It's got to be something that you enjoy as well. So today's food is quinoa. I don't know if you can see that or know what that is. I don't know about you, but when I first saw it on the shelf a few years ago, and I thought, how on earth do you say that, right? So I went and looked it up because it starts Quinoa. So how do you say it? So it's called quinoa, just in case you didn't know how to say it. So it is actually a seed that's cultivated from the amaranth plant, but we generally use it as a grain. So it cooks just like rice or pasta. You know, you have 2 cups of liquid to 1 cup of the grain. It's a seed. So that means that the nutritional value is a little bit different than, let's say, a rice. Also, quinoa does come in different flavors, different colors, which actually can be a little different flavor depending on the white is a little bit more neutral. There's red and black quinoa, which is a little bit crunchier and a little bit nuttier too. So those are things to think about. I generally go for the tricolor, so I've got a little bit of everything in my blend. So nutrition, it's gluten-free. It is high protein. It's also one of the few complete proteins, so it has all the essential amino acids, which is very rare for a plant protein. So that's excellent. It's high in fiber. It's mostly insoluble fiber, so that's more of a movement, digestive movement versus soluble. It does have a little bit of soluble fiber in it as well, so it's a decent balance. It's got some B vitamins and also some minerals, so magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, a little bit of iron. And what I realized, quite frankly, from doing a little research on this is that it has some very powerful antioxidant flavonoids called quercetin and camphorol, if I'm saying that correctly. But quercetin you may have heard a little bit with COVID, the possibilities. The studies have been done in animals that show that it has some antiviral, antidepressant properties. So it's definitely something to look into. And other quercetin foods would be citrus fruits, and what else? I know apples, nuts, leafy greens. So it's in good company, this quinoa. Also, how do we prepare it? So let's get to the good bit. One thing with quinoa is you want to make sure that you rinse it. So making sure you put your seeds in a little you call it a sieve, a mesh, fine mesh strainer, and rinse and rinse and rinse as much as you can, because the coating on it's a natural coating on the quinoa saponin tends to be a little bitter. I call it has like a soapy taste. So you really want to make sure you rinse and rinse and rinse it. Okay. Then what you can do also, if you want to sort of neutralize the flavor and also make it easier to cook, is you can go a step further and put it in a pan and heat it up until it pops a little bit. That also makes it a little nuttier flavor, which is nice. So rinsing it, then you can, another thing is that it's wonderful as a savory meal or a sweet meal. So savory, you cook it up. Got some here, all cooked, all fluffy, ready to go. Adding whatever dressing you like or sauce, but adding some maybe leafy greens or roasted red pepper, add some more chickpeas, a little more protein in there, salt and pepper, olive oil, delicious. That's a meal in itself. Another way that I would consider it as a breakfast, so I've got my blueberries in the bottom here, and what I like to do is put in, sometimes I'll do oats, but if you can certainly try it with quinoa, right? And then I have some chia seeds, put those in. And this is really not, this is just you have whatever you have in the house, well, almost, not quite whatever you have in the house, but things that you like, some coconut flakes. I put a little flax meal, and a little cinnamon. And then that's a nice little mixture. You can either add some yogurt to that, if you like yogurt. I might add a little bit of milk. So I've got my favorite milk there. And then I'm going to, because it has the chia seeds in there, which tend to soak up some of the liquid and make it more of a pudding, I'm going to set that aside for later, after lunch, so between lunch and dinner, and I'll have that as a snack, but something you could have for breakfast, and it's quite nutritious and delicious. Another thing to mention is that quinoa you can also use as a flour in baking. So they simply just grind the flour, and you can use it, if you have a recipe, you can use it for all of the wheat flour, or you can use it for half of the all-purpose flour, and that way you're adding some more protein and nutrients to your baked goods. Always work the nutrition into those chocolate chip cookies that I keep talking about. Well, that's it from me today, and we'll be back, or I'll be back next week to talk about another food. Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm gonna stop there. Okay.